Welcome to this Farming Simulator 19 new map tour with me, MrSealyp. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, WESTBRIDGE HILLS has made a return to FS19. This has been converted over by Vanquish 081. This was originally, I believe, an FS13 map. I first came to the franchise in FS15. I think we had Bjornholm, WESTBRIDGE HILLS, and then we got Sosnovka as a DLC map, didn't we, on 15? Then on 17, this was modded and converted over to 17. It's now been converted over to 19. There are some pros and there are some cons, believe it or not. But we're going to get straight into it. We start here. Where is here? We are at the main farmyard. Now, if you've played on this map before, you're going to find it very nostalgic, and it's back to where you're familiar and that kind of thing, and it does have that familiarity about it. If you're new to the franchise, if you've never played on this map before, it's a large American map. Field prices can be a little bit pricey, but there are some small ones, so there's a whole range of things. But we do start here at the main farm, which is all very nice. What fields do we start with? Well, we start with field 16 and 17 if you start on New Farmer. On FS15, I'm sure you only started with field 16 and you had to kind of build up from there, but you actually do start with 16 and 17 on this version. We have a few sale points around the map. We've got the barn biomass heating plant, which is basically where your wood chips go. We've got the mill, ranch, restaurant, spinnery, storage, train station and vegetable warehouse. We've got 300,000 litres of silo at the moment. And on New Farmer you do start with some crops in the tank. Contracts are available, which is, that's kind of fairly standard these days. It's very unusual not to get contracts, unless of course you're playing on a forestry map. Sometimes forestry maps don't have them at all, but I always mention it just in case. So as I said, field prices range from field 6 down the bottom here, 82,000, field 5, 108, up to field 9, 1,344,000. I mean, that was always the point. You kind of built up to getting the bigger fields if you wanted to. I think when I played originally, I think I saved up enough to get field 20, and then I think I added field 19, ploughed them together. It's that kind of thing. Now, as far as animals go, we've only got cows and sheep on here as standard. And when I say standard, a lot of stuff's been modded. So what we're going to do, we're going to come back out. This is the farmhouse, the iconic WESTBRIDGE HILLS farmhouse with the stars and stripes flying proudly overhead. And we come round into the main yard. We do start with a few bits of machinery. We'll have a look at those in a minute. And in talking about the machinery, bearing in mind you've got a John Deere sitting there, you're going to think, oh no, straight away, slot count's going to be horrendous. One of the pros, slot count is phenomenal. Now, like I say, nostalgia-wise, if you remember playing on this before, you're going to be pleasantly surprised, because a lot of the stuff is, to say it's as it was, pretty much exactly how it was. There are a few changes, a few little things, but all of these buildings that seem quite familiar from the original version have all now been modded. They have been converted, because obviously with FS19 came placeables, landscaping. We've always had placeables, but you know what I mean, about being able to build your farm from scratch. So what Vanquish 081 has done is taken a lot of these and turned them into mods within this map, so you can place them, which means you do start with them. The workshop here is one thing that stays weirdly. If you go on New Farm, which I'm on now, we've used 373 out of 1299 slots, which means it gives us 926 slots to play around with. As we go around the map, you'll see why. If you're expecting something vastly new or different with WESTBRIDGE HILLS, that's going to be one of the cons. Nothing really has changed, I'll be honest. The sell points are all in the same place, they're all called the same thing. A lot of graphically the buildings, as we go around, you'll see pretty much the same. There's a couple of other cons we'll kind of mention as we go around. But with FS19 obviously comes the pros of the fact you can build your own farm. If you played on this originally and always wanted to have your farm somewhere else, or you wanted to have some different stuff, or you wanted to landscape something differently, you can now. And I think that's one of the real big positives to FS19. We do start with also in here some mods for seed fertilizer and liquid fertilizer refilling, which a lot of map makers aren't adding in anymore because there are so many placeables available now. There's not really a lot of point because you can place your own refill points, and obviously, you know, I suppose the point is you're supposed to go and buy it from the store in pallets and things like that, but you do start with placeables on here. So what I'm going to do very quickly, I'm just going to try something, see if this works. If you start on Farm Manager or start from scratch, let's go up here. I want this tree here. If I swing around like that, I might not be quite in the right place, but we'll see. So, like I say, 926 slots available to play with. If you start on Farm Manager or start from scratch, this is what it looks like. As you can see at the main yard, you start with absolutely, well, say absolutely nothing. You do start with the vehicle workshop. Weirdly, of all the things to keep, you keep the vehicle workshop. But it does give you the ability to basically make Westbridge Hills into the map you want it to be, or maybe always wanted it to be. It depends if you've played it before or not. But yeah, you don't start with anything. Completely empty. It seems very, very strange. Having played on this map on 15 and 17, it just looks weird. But anyway, there you go. So on Farm Manager and start from scratch, this is how it starts. And down at the cows, there's nothing here either. Fantastic. So, on Farm Manager and start from scratch, without having any of the buildings, any of the machinery and stuff, you only use 159 out of 1299 slots. That gives you 1140 slots to play around with if you're on console. If you're on PC, it makes no difference to you. You don't have slots, you don't have to worry about that. So yeah, as far as what do we start with and modded things, well, let's have a look. Under our placeable section, animal pens, we've got all the standard in-game stuff, but then at the end here we've got a large chicken coop and we've got the large cow pasture. Those are both there. So it's chickens and cows. I thought we had a sheep pasture. We'll have a look at that in a second, hang on. And these are to fit around what was already there before, so these are the kind of ones that were there on FS17 and FS15 have now been modded, so you can add them and remove them. But you can have 500 chickens, 350 cows in there, which is not too bad at all. I don't think we've got anything under miscellaneous. Oh yes, we have. Of course we have. We've got the vehicle workshop, fertilizer point, liquid fertilizer point, herbicide point, seed point, and the gas station. There's also a wind pump, so if you want water, you can place that. So these have all been kind of put on to add in if you want them. They do start on New Farmer with them. Silos, we've got modded in. We've got the multi-silo, which does your potatoes, sugar beet and sugar cane. And the large grain silo at the main yard, which was always there, is now available to remove, or whichever you want to do, or put somewhere else. That only takes the main crop types. That's not a multi-fruit silo. Under decoration, I don't think we've got anything modded. Under sheds, we've got a few. We've got the main farm garage, which is fairly large. We've got the farm garage. We've got a lot of these little small farm garages. And then under farmhouse, and this is where things get a little bit whoa. The farmhouse is 560 grand. I get it. It's a lovely, lovely house, lovely building. Now here's the thing. If we go to our garage, we do start with the John Deere 6230. We've got fast track. We've got an Stara ST Max. We do start with the T560 John Deere. Agroliner trailer, header for the John Deere. We've got cultivators, seeders. We've got power harrow. We've got front seed tank. We've got sprayer. We've got the large cow pasture. Now, here's the thing. If you come on here and you want to sell the pastures, the large sheep pasture, that's weird. Did I go past that as a mod then? I didn't see that. If you get rid of them on New Farmer, you don't get anything for them. You do for the silos, the farm garages you don't, but the farmhouse at the end, you don't get anything for it. 560 grand, and if you decide I'll get rid, you don't get anything for it. You can get rid of it, but you won't get anything for it. Bit peculiar. I'm not too sure why that's the case, but it is. Anyway, so that's the kind of modded stuff. That's the vehicles and things you start with. So what we're going to do now, let's have a quick look. So that's your silo for putting your sugar beet, sugar cane and stuff in. Farm shelters, the large farm shelter, fuel tank, silo, just around there. Now these aren't modded, but if you start from scratch or farm manager, none of these buildings here either, as you already saw. All of that's gone. So you can't replace those. So if you do like these red barns, unless you can find a modded one that you might want to put in its place, the chickens are here. Buying and selling of our chickens is done from there. Egg boxes will arrive there, and the food trough is around the side, just there. And like I said, our vehicle workshop is just there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab the JCB, because I think that's going to be the quickest way of getting around. We'll whiz around the map, have a look. Start her up. I'm going to do a kind of clockwise route round. We go out past the silo. So we're facing north at the moment. We're now going to head west up to the store. Like I say, the familiarity of having played on it before is great, very nostalgic. But one thing I always say when I do these, when maps get converted over from previous versions, especially onto 19 with all the placeable stuff, has enough been done to make this different? Other than the nostalgia of coming back and playing on Westbridge Hills, has anything been done to bring you back in, to get you back in and think, wow, this is, this has really been, the ante's been upped on this? I have to say, no. I personally don't think so. And one of the cons I'm going to bring up will kind of explain that a little bit more as well. The store is pretty much as it was. Reset point is here. Everything resets back to here. Oh yeah, I meant to say, under the buying screen, biogas plant, which is down the bottom here, hasn't moved. It's exactly where it was. If you want to buy the biogas plant, that's 205,000. Well, 206 grand. Let's just call that 206,000 to buy the biogas plant if you want to use the biogas plant. Actually, here, let me just check that. So where are our? Right. So that's the sheep. Now, if you come onto here on Farm Manager and start from scratch, that's not there. Did I miss it? Did I miss it under animal pens? The sheep pen. Let's go across. Pig, sheep pasture, chicken coop, cow. But no. So why does that say on the garage screen, sheep pasture mod, but it's not here in the animal pens to actually buy? Because it does say mod. That's very peculiar. Okay, well, I guess you just have to place a standard one, wouldn't you? If you start on the other ones. Store itself you can go into. That's in there. Don't have to, you can use your tablet if you want to. Repair point, sell point, configuration point is just there. What we're going to do is carry on heading west, and we're going to go down towards the train station. The train there's not a train that comes through, not on console. Now, second of my cons. This map was never renowned for being a forestry map. There wasn't a lot of forestry to be done, but if you look across here, as I drive across, if you've played on this before, you think, hang on a minute, that seems a bit odd. There are loads of trees missing. Or say missing, have been removed. There's a lot of trees been removed, but then they've been put in other places, which is a bit peculiar. Like I say, it was never renowned for being big on forestry, but that hillside is bare. That had loads of trees on it. So we're going to come down the hill now, in towards the town itself. And again, I think you'll see what I mean. Draw distance, that's really peculiar with that building suddenly appearing. We've got another large building there. Swing round, we've got a train station sell point, it's just along here. Again, exactly where it was, nothing's changed. But like I say, if you're new to this, this is all going to be new anyway. There were trees all across here as well. And I'm sure some buildings as well. A lot of that's been removed, which has probably been done to bring the slot count right down. It gives you the option to kind of go the route you want to go with it, which I understand. I don't know, it just seems a bit odd. Anywho, heading up the map, past the town. Again, the park here, all the trees have gone. No trees in the park here. But there seem to be a ton of trees mixed in around the town and the houses. which is very odd. I don't know. I assume that's intentional. It hasn't been like it's moved them from somewhere to there instead. But here's the main town. What we'll do, let's just open this up a little bit bigger. Actually, you know what we'll do? Let's go into the map. So we've come from the main farm here. We've come west to the shop. We've come along here, up and across past the train station, and now we're coming up past the town itself. In the town, you've got 2 fuel points. At different times, there have been different things in there. Then we're going to come across to the top to the vegetable warehouse. We've got the store. We've got storage, and we've got the animal dealer. That's where we're going to be heading to. So I'm going to drive along and see you there in a moment. Baseball ground is still there. We come up on the garden centre. Garden centre, we've got seed refill points, fertiliser refill points, liquid fertiliser points. And around the back we also have our sell point, which is just there. I say the buildings are all pretty much the same. You know, there are a few, like I say, a few little tweaks. We've got a lot more. The lighting obviously is FS19. The textures, the grass textures, all those kind of things are. There are certain bits that I just think seem a little bit flat to me. And again, it's just it's a personal opinion. You may go around and you know. So here we have got. This is the storage sell point. If we go across one. And we go down, that's that one there, so that's the storage sell point. We go across, we got milk you can sell at the ranch, the restaurant and at the train station. Weirdly there's no dairy sell point. That will make more sense in a little while. Livestock market is just up ahead here, but again nothing's been kind of added in for the livestock market. Bear in mind all the things that you can kind of have in now. It's just that, it's just the little hazard mark box. It's just round behind the back of a warehouse. And that's the kind of thing, you know, if you're looking for something different with this map, if you were coming on thinking, oh wow, what have they done to Westbridge Hills, how have they changed it? Not very much. You know what I say? You know, and don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking modders, you know. All I'm doing is reviewing the map as I see it. I'm saying the things that people are going to say when they go around the map, when they have a look. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. I do the pros and the cons. I have a look at everything and say, look, this is what it's got, this is what it hasn't got, this is my own personal feeling, my opinion. You know, converting a map over is an incredibly difficult thing to do. You know, having spoken to Alien Jim about it, I know, I get it. It's a hard thing to do. Bringing it in is like, you know, it's like Giant's Island and those kind of maps. Not a lot was different, but if you played on them before and you loved them, coming back to a map you loved is enough. For some people, it's not enough. Some people want more. I'm just, you know, pointing out. So we are at the mill. This is the mill sell point. This is the train line that runs right the way across. Like I say, no trains run across it. That's the mill sell point, just there. Now we're going to head down south, down the kind of eastern, say, edge. We're not right over on the edge yet, but so this is the sheep pen, and this is the one that's not showing up in the modded placeable section, which is weird. But that's your sheep, just there. What we're going to do now, farm is over to our right hand side there where we started. We're going to head up this hill. We do tend to slow down just a little bit. It's quite steep, this one. Always has been. I remember trying to haul all sorts of stuff up here and really struggling before. I mean, for me, it's, you know, I know myself and CLEG, my daughter, we played the hours we put into this game on FS15. Because you've got to remember, on console, on FS15, we only had 2 maps. And then when we got the DLC map, we had 3. 3 whole maps on FS15 on PS4. So this was played and played with the hours we put into this, and this is still one of her favourite maps. She loves it. And coming back onto it, it does have that feeling. You're like, oh wow, you know, it's cool. I'm back on Westbridge Hills. So we've got a fuel point just there. As we come through here, Again, this is all pretty much the same, and nothing's changed. The buildings all look pretty much the same as well. We've got a spinnery sell point, which obviously will now take cotton. There's nothing around it. There's no bales of cotton or wool or anything to say spinnery. There's no signpost or anything like that. It's just there, tucked around behind the buildings. And then we've got round the back here, we've got, I think, ranch and diner. Was it Pete's Diner? What did it used to be called? I'm trying to think now. Uncle Pete's, there you go. Uncle Pete's Excellent Diner. It's just there. I'm sure there's another sell point. Because that, I mean, actually, to be fair, that is one thing. The livestock market used to be up here. It did. It used to be along this section here. I'm just thinking, what looked different? Yeah, livestock market was up here. It's here, isn't it? Just drove over it. This has a marked area here, and on the map, this is. So we've come all the way down here, down past the mill, down past the sheep, up the hill, spinnery. Oh, barn. So it's ranch and barn, not the diner. The diner's further down. So ranch. Although it did say anyway. That's weird, isn't it? That says ranch, but the sign actually says Uncle Pete's. Anyway, we'll not get into that. Right, what we're going to do is carry on south. Then we're going to head west again down the bottom part of the map towards the cow pasture, the biogas plant, and all those lovely sell points down there. So we come down the hill, cow pasture on the left hand side. As you've already seen, if you start on Farm Manager or start from scratch, none of this is here. None of it. But it is modded. You can put it down as a mod. Like so, you might decide you want to put it somewhere else. Or you might want to put a completely different cow pasture down. And like I say, that is the beauty of FS19 now. And I think is another one of the pros of this map now. The conversion over. In that, if you were never happy about this, you might have always decided, oh, I want a different one. You can. You could put a couple down on this massive space, and there's plenty of room here. But that's your cow pasture, just there. Something's added, something's missing. Biogas plant is just over here. Like I say, 200 and something, wasn't it? 205, 206,000 for the biogas plant. There is a lime buy point in here as well. Obviously lime is new on 19. Digestate tank is just there for your byproduct. Lime point is just over there. Digester is just over here. With 4 rather large bunker silos. Although they do, I don't know, it's just me, they seem smaller. Maybe it's just remembering things wrong, possibly, and we have got a fuel point just over there as well. So we've got another little kind of village town type affair. We're going to drive up through here to the next of our sell points, which is the restaurant, isn't it? Yes, there we go. Restaurant sell point is just here on the left. Now this is your biomass heating plant. That always used to pay out really, really well on 15. I mean, so did the biogas plant. The prices for things like that. Okay, is that the exit? Or is it only open at certain times? That's a bit peculiar. So for wood chips, they go into that point there, which is biomass. Oh, there we go. We've got an in and an out. That's your biomass, just in there. And then our sawmill was a little bit further down. Yeah. Just down here. Now this all used to be all trees down here as well. There are a few dotted about now, but not as many. Like I say, there was never a huge amount of logging to be done on this map. Having a sawmill was always kind of one of those things of, you know, it's there, but, you know, I think on one of the Let's Plays I did, I think when I played on 15, I think I was just playing for myself, this entire field here, I made into a forest at one point, and then did a load of logging. That was just my own personal preference, you know. That, in essence, that's the sell points. That's everything. We've come from the ranch and the barn, down here, across the bottom of the map, past the cow pasture, biogas plant, restaurant, biomass and sawmill. That's all the sell points. That's everything. We've been around the entire map. But what I'm going to do is come up past this building here, and we'll go to this bit here. In case you haven't seen this before, there's a campground just over to the sides here. You've got a drive-in cinema, which is always, I've always thought that's absolutely fantastic. But I think the last of my cons, just something, you know, it's something that, again, from a console player's perspective, it's one of those things. I think I mentioned it on, is it Green River? Might have been Green River 19. I mentioned the same thing, and it was that as soon as I loaded the map up, I thought, I wonder, and we'll see. So what we're going to do is head up here, because on console, on 15 and 17, up here we've got Supreme Milk, and it was always that dream, you know, PC players could deliver milk and they could transport milk and all that cool stuff. And when 19 came out on console, we got the ability to deliver milk. And so my first thought was, they've made Supreme Milk into a dairy. They must have done. They haven't. Supreme Milk is still here. Your milk can be sold at all different sell points, but the actual building itself here for milk hasn't been made into a dairy. And that surprises me. Now, admittedly, we've got the edge sell point now, which you could put in. So if you wanted to, you know, that will take everything. But if you wanted to kind of simulate the fact that this was now a dairy, you could place one of those, I guess, now. But it's a small thing. But like I say, I'm pointing it out because it's that, you know, you kind of go around the map and think, oh, I wonder, and then find, you know, yeah, it's not. But that's my own perception. You know, at the end of the day, it's not a horrendous thing. What we'll do. I wonder if the sign has changed to show what they were playing. So we turn up here. Jet set farming. Rise of the Harvester 4. Running out of taters. It's just got in and out. There we go. So we've got a drive-in movie theatre. Just here. It's always been one of those things I've always thought was really cool. I don't know why. Just, you know, it was a nice little touch drive in here. Up on the hillside. But anyway, that's it. That's the map. That's the tour. Like I say, you know, I think people are going to be divided. It's going to be a case of fantastic. Westbridge Hills is back. I love this map. I love exactly how it is. I want to play it exactly how it was. I want to go for that nostalgia. If you're new to the game, you won't remember what it was like before. So for you, it's just a new map, and it's going to be a case of whether you like it or don't like it based upon the features it's got now. If you're one of those people that were expecting things to have been changed, things added, you may come away from it a little bit disappointed, and I'm just saying, you may not at all. I'm just pointing out what's here. So that's it from Westbridge Hills 19. I hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free, and if you want to share this video, then please be my guest, whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.